The world isn't run by the honest. It's run by those who understand how humans really work. Their fears, their egos, their blind spots. Most people think manipulation is a trick. But Machiavelli knew the truth. It's a language that the powerful speak fluently, and the naive never realize they're hearing. So the question isn't if you'll be manipulated. It's when. Unless you learn these dark lessons. Lessons that make you immune, not by becoming colder, but by seeing through the illusions that control everyone else. Today, we're diving deep into 10 dark lessons from history, psychology, and power, the kind Machiavelli himself would whisper if he saw the way the world still works. Lesson 1. Never assume good intentions. Men are so simple and so much creatures of circumstance that the deceiver will always find someone ready to be deceived. Niccolò Machiavelli. Most people want to believe in goodness. It's comforting. It's safe. But that's exactly why manipulators thrive. They weaponize morality. Think of history's smooth talkers, corporate leaders, politicians, even spiritual gurus. They never appear evil. They seem righteous, visionary, concerned. They hide their claws behind causes. And by the time you realize their true motives, it's too late. Here's the rule. Whenever someone tells you they're acting for your good, pause. Ask, who benefits if I believe this? The moment you question motives, you shatter the illusion that fuels manipulation. Effective affirmation. I see beyond appearances. I question the motive behind every mask. Lesson 2. Control your emotional temperature. Manipulation doesn't work on the logical. It works on the emotional. When someone wants to control you, they don't argue with facts. They pull at your emotions. Guilt, fear, admiration, belonging. Jung called this the possession of the psyche. When emotion hijacks reason, and you start defending what's hurting you. Every great manipulator studies emotional timing. They wait until you're angry, lonely, or desperate. Then they move. To become immune, you must master emotional neutrality. When provoked, breathe. When praised, pause. When flattered, question. That silence in your reaction? That's where your power lives. Effective affirmation. My emotions obey me. I am calm while others chase feelings. Lesson 3. Never reveal the full picture. Machiavelli warned. He who knows how to appear deceitful while remaining unreadable is the master of men. Information is currency, and most people spend it too fast. You tell your plans, your goals, your pain, and suddenly your vulnerability becomes someone else's leverage. Think of corporate rivals. The one who stays quiet, observes, asks questions, always seems more powerful. Not because they are more powerful, but because others reveal too much. When people don't know what moves you, they can't control your direction. So learn the art of strategic mystery. Speak less. Smile more. Let them guess. Effective affirmation. I speak with purpose, not impulse. Silence is my shield. Lesson 4. Study the shadows of others. Carl Jung said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. Everyone wears a mask, but underneath lies the shadow. Hidden desires, jealousy, insecurity. The manipulator sees your shadow before you do. They'll sense your need for approval, your hunger for recognition, your fear of rejection, and they'll feed it. If you crave validation, they'll praise you. If you fear abandonment, they'll promise loyalty. Then, when you're hooked, they'll twist the knife. To be immune, study your shadow first. The parts of you that you deny, that's where you're weakest. The moment you own your darkness, no one else can use it against you. Effective affirmation. I know my shadow, therefore no one can control me through it. Lesson 5. The art of strategic distance. Power dies in overexposure. The more available you are, the more predictable you become. In psychology, this is called the scarcity effect. People value what's rare, not what's constant. Manipulators exploit this by creating distance, then returning with emotional intensity. Keeps their targets addicted. So reverse it. Be the one who withdraws. Let people wonder where your attention went. Machiavelli said a prince must learn when to appear accessible and when to vanish into mystery. Control the rhythm of your presence, and you control the rhythm of others' desire. Effective affirmation. My absence has power. I appear when it serves my purpose. Lesson 6. Observe, don't react. Every manipulator is a student of human reaction. They test you, drop comments, plant doubts, trigger emotions, just to see how you'll respond. The moment you react, they map your weaknesses. To flip the dynamic, become the observer. Notice patterns. Notice why they say things when they do. In military strategy, this is reconnaissance, gathering intel before striking. When you observe, you gain insight. When you react, you give information. The strongest move is stillness. Effective affirmation. I watch more than I speak. I act when the timing is perfect. So far, we've learned the foundation of psychological armor. How to resist emotional pulls, see hidden motives, and turn silence into strength. But the deeper lessons, the ones Machiavelli whispered through his cold realism, go beyond resistance. They're about dominion, understanding how power itself bends people, and how to never kneel before it again. Lesson 7. Never compete for validation. Manipulators feed on one thing, your need to be seen. They sense when you're seeking approval and they dangle it like bait. They praise you, then withdraw it. They compare you to others. They make you earn what should be freely given. And soon you're no longer thinking, you're performing, dancing for crumbs of validation. But here's the truth. The moment you compete for attention, you lose control of your identity. Because they now decide what enough looks like. Machiavelli warned that rulers use recognition as a leash. When you depend on praise, they pull and you follow. So detach your worth from perception. Be fueled by self-respect, not applause. Effective affirmation. I validate myself. Praise is optional, not essential. Lesson 8. Learn the power of selective compassion. Goodness, when unguarded, becomes a weapon against you. Greene wrote in the 48 Laws of Power, conceal your intentions. Be generous, but only as a calculated strategy. This isn't cruelty, it's clarity. Selective compassion means knowing who deserves your empathy and who only mimics pain to exploit it. History is filled with examples. Leaders who showed mercy to the wrong people and were destroyed by those they spared. Forgiveness without awareness is self-betrayal. So yes, be kind, but let your kindness be a choice, not a reflex. Give help strategically, not blindly. Effective affirmation. My compassion has boundaries. My kindness is wise, not weak. Lesson 9. Understand the game of power projection. Power isn't real until others believe it's real. Manipulators project certainty, dominance, and calm, even when they're terrified, and people fall for it. Because in chaos, humans crave stability, and confidence feels like truth. Machiavelli understood this centuries ago. He wrote that a ruler should appear strong, even when he's not, because fear maintains order when love fades. That's why illusion matters. If you appear confident, people hesitate to test you. If you appear uncertain, even your allies question you. So learn to project controlled strength. Slow movements, quiet tone, unbroken eye contact. The body language of command. You don't need to be dominant. You only need to look like you could be. Effective affirmation. I project calm authority. My presence commands respect before I speak. Lesson 10. Accept that morality is a tool, not a compass. This is Machiavelli's most disturbing truth, and the one most people refuse to hear. Morality, he said, is not an absolute, it's a tool of control. The powerful shape right and wrong to fit their purpose. Religion, politics, law, all draped in moral language, but designed to preserve the hierarchy. When you realize this, you stop trying to be good by others' definitions. You start being effective by your own. This doesn't mean evil. It means freedom, the courage to define your own ethics. Manipulators lose their grip when you no longer fear social judgment, because shame is their sharpest weapon. And when shame can't pierce you, you become untouchable. Effective affirmation. I live by inner truth, not external approval. My integrity serves purpose, not conformity. You've now stepped into the mind of a strategist. Not a victim, not a puppet, but a thinker who sees the board from above. Each of these lessons builds a kind of invisible armor. The power to pause instead of react. The skill to see motives behind masks. The strength to choose silence, distance, and self-command. But there's still one deeper layer. A truth that Machiavelli, Jung, and every student of power eventually discovers. It's not enough to resist manipulation. You must transcend it, to move beyond games entirely, and learn to control the field itself. That's where we go next. He who conquers himself is greater than he who conquers a city. Ancient proverb, echoed by Stoics and strategists alike. The question now becomes, how do you master manipulation without becoming the manipulator? How do you stay human, while walking among those who use deceit as currency? The hidden rule of manipulation. Control the field, not just the pieces. By now, you've learned how to shield yourself, how to resist emotional traps, guard your shadow, and wield strategic silence. But there's a subtle truth most never realize. Manipulation is not just a set of actions, it's a system of perception. It's the way people see you, react to you, and assume what you want. If you control the field, the social environment, the context, the narrative, you don't just defend yourself. You shape the reality others must play in. Example, look at historical figures like Otto von Bismarck. He rarely revealed his true intentions, yet he orchestrated the unification of Germany. He didn't manipulate people directly. He controlled the field, the diplomatic tension, public opinion, and alliances, and everyone moved within it as he predicted. The lesson: resist the urge to fight manipulators on their terms. Instead, step back and shape the terms themselves. Effective affirmation. I control my environment. I define the rules by which I live. The power of predictive observation. Manipulation thrives on surprise, on exploiting the unknown. But humans are predictable. We respond to stress, desire, and fear in patterns. Jung described this as the psychology of projection. Manipulators project desires onto you, and if you understand these patterns, you can anticipate their moves before they even act. Real-life example. In business, seasoned negotiators observe subtle cues, tiny hesitations, tonal shifts, even micro-expressions, to predict and counter manipulative tactics. Your mind becomes your greatest weapon, not through aggression but by knowing the next 3 moves before they make them. Effective affirmation. I observe, I predict, I act with foresight. The game unfolds under my gaze. Lesson 11. Transform fear into strategic awareness. Fear is a natural human weapon, but it only works if you react unconsciously. Machiavelli understood this. He who fears nothing can conquer all. This doesn't mean you eliminate fear. It means you translate it into information. Every fear signals a potential threat, an area where someone might try to influence you. Example, imagine a colleague who subtly undermines your reputation. If you react out of fear, anger, desperation, or anxiety, you give them leverage. If you observe the fear within yourself and map it, you convert it into strategy. Effective affirmation. I feel fear, yet I act with clarity. My fear becomes my compass, not my cage. Lesson 12. Build an inner fortress of autonomy. All these lessons converge into one ultimate principle: autonomy. A manipulator can't touch what is untouchable. They can't control what refuses to bend. They can't dominate what doesn't react. Historical example: Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, faced political intrigue, betrayal, and public pressure daily. Yet his writings reveal an unshakable inner citadel, a mind uncorrupted by external manipulation. Your inner fortress is built with awareness of your shadow, discipline of your emotions, control of your presence, and speech, strategic compassion, understanding of social perception. When your mind is a fortress, others' attempts to pull you into their game fail automatically. Effective affirmation. I am sovereign of my mind, independent in my will. No one can manipulate what I own completely, myself. The Machiavellian paradox. Here's the truth that makes most people uncomfortable. To resist manipulation, you must understand it fully. To see the darkness in others, you must confront the darkness within yourself. To build an inner fortress, you must accept that morality is not absolute. And yet, this does not make you cruel. It makes you awake. It makes you free. He who conquers others is strong. He who conquers himself is mighty. Lao Tzu. You now have the blueprint. You can see motives, anticipate moves, and act with sovereignty. You can transform fear, emotion, and chaos into clarity, strategy, and strength. Cinematic recap. The 10 dark lessons. Let's walk through the path you've just traveled. A map of the mind that turns vulnerability into invincibility. Never assume good intentions, question motives. Protect your perception. Control your emotional temperature, calm is armor. Emotion is a weapon. Master it. Never reveal the full picture, silence shields. Mystery empowers. Study the shadows of others. Understand hidden motives before they act. The art of strategic distance. Absence amplifies presence. Let them chase. Observe, don't react. Stillness reveals patterns. Reaction gives leverage. Never compete for validation. Self-worth is internal. Applause is optional. Learn the power of selective compassion. Kindness is strategic, not blind. Understand the game of power projection. Confidence creates perception. Perception becomes reality. Accept that morality is a tool, not a compass. Freedom lies in defining your own ethics. These aren't just tips. They are the mental architecture of immunity, built on centuries of insight from Machiavelli, Jung, Greene, and history's quiet observers of power. Now imagine walking into a room where everyone is trying to pull strings, where hidden agendas swirl like smoke, where words are weapons, smiles are masks, and intentions are invisible. You move through it untouched. Why? Because you are no longer prey. You are a strategist, a sovereign of your own perception, a mind that others cannot predict, manipulate, or control. Every subtle test, every emotional trap, every half-truth thrown your way, bounces harmlessly off your armor of awareness. This is the essence of Machiavellian immunity. Not cruelty, not domination, but clarity, foresight, and autonomy. The parting Machiavellian warning. Remember, it is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both. Machiavelli. But this isn't about fear of others. It's about fearlessness within yourself. The truly powerful don't manipulate blindly. They see the strings, they understand the patterns, and they choose whether or not to engage. This is your ultimate lesson. Protect your mind. Guard your perception. Own your choices. Walk through the world untouchable. And once you do, manipulation loses its hold. The games, the deceit, the invisible chains, all crumble before a mind that is sovereign. Repeat these words. I am aware. I am sovereign. I am untouchable. I see through masks. I master my emotions, and I define my own power. Carry this truth with you, because knowledge without action is still vulnerability. But insight applied is invincibility. The world whispers manipulation in every corner, but I walk unshaken, unseen by its snares, untouched by its illusions.